It's a brand new day.
Love ya. My name is Tyler Oakley, and Tyler might recognize me from the internet. I have been making YouTube videos for a decade now. If you were to combine my followership, it's like 23 million people, which, like, even just to say that, like, it doesn't make sense to me.
This house is up here. I wish I could go by it.
Scribble, all right?
All right.
It's code for...
Quit talking?
Sure.
Okay. Not talking. So it's only like a mile and a half up that road. Oh, I'll quit talking now, I'm sorry.
I was introduced to the show by my best friend Corey, who is here today. He is a super fan of the show. And then I also brought my mom, Jackie.
Do you think he's nervous?
I woke up this morning and I was not nervous. And then as soon as I stepped foot in here, I'm like, oh, this is happening. So I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know what to expect. There are so many question marks to the situation. He can just zip his lips if it's bad news. I don't want to know. Hello.
I
Come on
recognize
in.
you.
How are you?
Great to meet you, Tyler.
Nice to meet you.
It's Tyler and Tyler.
Tyler
I
and
love it.
Tyler. How are you?
Doing good. When the door opened, I realized it was Tyler Oakley. He's someone I'm a huge fan of.
Welcome to the bowling alley.
I love it. Is it yours?
This is not my bowling alley.
Darn it.
When it comes to the spectrum of belief, I would say I'm like somewhere in the middle. I'm eager to see his strengths come alive. We'll see. I had been wanting this to happen for so long, and it finally happened.
Yes.
I had been hoping for it, and it's finally here.
So glad it happened.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so happy to get to meet you. You're someone I've always wanted to meet. No, seriously, really. Like, you are amazing, and I think that you're such an amazing voice.
Stop that.
No, I have to say, you're an amazing voice for this community, and I really appreciate everything that you've done in your work. So I really am excited to meet you.
Thanks.
So,
Make me blush.
Oh, shucks. It's all good. I see you have some photos here, which is awesome.
I do.
As well as a fabulous
Lock of
situation.
hair.
That hair.
It's interesting.
It's a piece of hair I found on the street.
You know,
No,
it's all good.
It was a weave of a drag queen.
Oh, now I brought through one or two of those before, though. Now, scribbling is kind of my way of just meditating and getting in the zone.
Do your thing.
We'll see what pops in. So, all good. So I'm just gonna give it 1 minute. We'll see. We have to talk about mom's side of family. Like,
Sure.
mom's side of family keeps coming in really strongly.
That's crazy.
And the interesting thing was that when I came here today, I was getting this impression that I felt like any messages that I had to deliver weren't going to just be for the client, but for the client's mother.
Okay.
And that seemed to be really important. So,
My mom is here.
oh, cool.
So anything that I don't know, she can fill in gaps.
No worries. Weird. Then we have, let me see what this is. And they're having me hold on to this. I'm gonna do each one by
Do
one.
your thing.
We're gonna talk about grandma situation. Connected on mom's side of family for sure.
Sure.
There's this reference of this woman who's acknowledging that she would have, at a time when it came to raising children, stepped in and actually took a role of like more than just grandma in the way
Sure.
this is coming through. And it's like taking on a role that I didn't like normally have to take, but then I took it and I did it voluntarily and it just keeps coming in.
My grandma supported us.
It's a situation where basically a father figure wasn't able to be fully present, fully emotionally like there, where I pass away and I don't feel like I've gotten to say everything that I needed to say, but to mom very specifically. And it's like almost, I don't want to say a shame around this, but it was a feeling of like, oh my God, I didn't get this chance.
Right.
And it's like,
Oh my God.
I mean, my grandpa on my mom's side, I didn't like know well
Sure.
or have much of a connection with.
yeah, it makes sense because it's oriented like just towards mom. It's like,
Okay.
it's not for you, it's
How
just
dare
for mom.
he.
I know, right? But it's, there was almost a hesitance in coming through is the way I would describe it.
Wow, Dad.
But it was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get everything out
Right.
that I want to get out. It would be around dad's passing.
That's so on.
Is it?
Yeah. My dad had a stroke and he couldn't talk anymore.
You said he couldn't talk.
Do you have any objects for him?
I do not.
Okay.
Did you bring stuff of your dad's too?
On mom's side of family, do you know if anyone served at all? Like in the military, in any capacity, like in an armed forces? They're showing me basically like working as an engineer.
I feel like my answer for everything is not that I know of, because I don't
Sure.
that I don't know.
Totally fine. No worries.
Is that him?
It's him. It's this guy.
Saying goodbye. Saying goodbye. It's like because of the timing in which I died, was not able to have full closure with all of my kids. The way this comes through.
There wasn't much of a relationship there with my dad, and I wasn't there at the end.
With this, they're having me bring up like all of the siblings, mom's side of family, it would be connected to grandpa, and then there's an acknowledgement of wanting to make sure every sibling has like the sense of closure with this circumstance, but it's not even revolving necessarily around a death, it's revolving around like your grandfather's life.
Wow.
He's putting as far as like responsibility, like parenting, he's putting it on grandma and then like not putting it on himself. Was there a time when your mom and father like ended up living geographically like a pretty substantial period of time away?
Mm-hmm.
Or like a state away by any capacity?
I don't think so.
Well, there is. They're bringing it basically like distance. They're having me talk about your mom's father. They're putting him here, they're putting mom here.
He left when I was 6 months. And he messed up bad. When we were younger.
The weird thing with this though is that there's this feeling of literally being like a different person to different siblings. So this is really confusing to me. It's like just a period of time where we're not speaking, not connecting, and it's like I want to reach out, I want to like try to make amends, and I'm not able to fully do this to the extent. But it looks like there would be an attempt at reaching out on Grandpa's end. So
Did he try to?
He stopped drinking, and he became a different person. And then he had a stroke.
I think we should bring your mom out. I think she might be able to validate something, hopefully.
I feel like she'll have answers. So, Mom.
Coming.
Coming. She's coming.
Awesome. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Come on in.
So I'm so glad that you came today, because literally on the car right here, I was like, I'm gonna have to talk to my client's mother. And so
That's crazy.
it's good that you're here. Was there anything that came through that you were able to validate that
Yes.
he didn't?
Yes.
I don't know anything.
Yes.
No worries. So, yeah.
What you said about my father
Right.
was completely on. So it was really
Wow.
crazy being back there.
Yeah. So wait, where's the great-grandmother connection here?
Well, you talked about my birth, or
Right.
my mom and dad had separated,
Oh, I see.
and he left. He just left. You mentioned my grandmother and the fact that somebody else had to help parent.
Right.
I was told this was my grandma.
Oh, okay.
So I have some photos here that Ty didn't bring out. And when you were talking, I was back there and I was actually showing the pictures. I was like, he's talking about him. He's talking about him. But this is my dad, and you talked about him being in the service.
Right.
And then his relationship with me.
Right.
And you can see that's me looking at my dad. That's how much I wanted that.
Of course.
And so for you to talk about it, it's pretty special.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah. No, absolutely.
I so didn't expect it.
Ooh, and that's sometimes where the most healing happens, you know? So I'm so glad.
Yeah, I just thought, oh my, and Ty's like, nope.
I'm like, I don't know.
And that's okay. I get it. I don't know much about my family history either, so I'm so glad that that came through. So there's a lot of these references I think are just kind of about taking accountability, and that seems to be a big reference. He's having me acknowledge this feeling of he's trying to be my symbol for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
He did have a lot of personalities, and everybody talked about this man who would drink and be so mean, but I didn't see it because he wasn't with me.
Right.
So I always wanted, can I just live with you? Can I just live with you?
Wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty crazy that you would bring that up.
He made a promise to show up. We're going way back, like way back. It's coming in and there's an acknowledgement of, I am sorry for us just like waiting and waiting and waiting, and Dad never shows up.
He would say that he was going to come and visit, and I would be outside, and he wouldn't show up. And I mean, I still thought my dad was wonderful.
Yes.
And then he was an alcoholic, and he became sober. And then I asked if I could live with him, and he said no.
Wow.
So it was always push, you know.
Right.
And then he had a stroke, and he could not talk for nothing. And then I got a phone call that you need to come, but I chose not to, and my other siblings did. So everybody was around
I see.
him as he passed.
So any questions in general for you, or for anything that you might want to know?
From my dad?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Did he want me?
I'm sorry.
Hearing my mom ask if her dad wanted her. I mean, like, that's tough. That's tough to hear. Because I feel like that's something that everyone feels at some level. Like, do you care for me? Do you love me? Do you appreciate me? Do you validate my experience? Like, you just want to feel connection in life, and it almost feels like just like a little girl, like, you know? And it's like, that's like my mom, and so that's like, it's like hard to hear.
He did, but when he comes through, there's such an understanding now from where he's at of how every sibling felt very different. The timing. And for some reason, there's a feeling of being not ready to have a child in some capacity or to have another like baby in the way this is coming in. It's like the timing of a child and an understanding of that lack of fairness. And there's a feeling of an apology around this, like, I didn't give you a fair shot. I didn't give you a fair chance. And there's this feeling of like, the most frustrating thing, because he's showing like you and then leaning in. And then I don't know if he would just shut you down or what this is, but he's having me acknowledge in hindsight, it's like, she tried. She tried to like extend the olive branch. She tried to like work things out. And he just keeps acknowledging shutting this down for some reason from his perspective. And I can't make a change. And it's just like, I see that I was uncooperative. There's just honestly a lot of like, oh wow, I realize now how I would have done things differently.
I feel like my mom is a really strong person and has always been there for me, and it's not a good feeling to know that she didn't have that with her parents. And so I'm grateful that I know every day how she looks at me and how she validates me and how she tells me she loves me and like how she broke that cycle. And I just am really grateful and lucky. Feels like therapy.
I'm so sorry you had to deal with that.
That's what the weird thing is I didn't expect him to even come up.
Right. And that tends to happen, you know? I always say in readings that oftentimes what needs to be healed in a family is one of the big things that'll tend to come through. I think when he came through, so much about it was taking accountability in a positive way.
Wow.
I love that.
Thank you.
Of course. I'm so glad that we were able to connect
Awesome.
today.
I'm sorry I took your...
No, I'm happy
Love it.
somebody came through for you.
Exactly.
Thanks, baby.
Yeah, Mom.
Oh, that's so sweet.
The answer she got was that she was wanted. And so witnessing like confirmation of something that she has spent decades needing to hear, and to have somebody like Tyler that can bring the two together, this has been a cool experience, like, to put it lightly. It's like a needed experience. Do you know how to do a boomerang?
You know, not successfully, but...
Well, just like movement in
I'm
some
just like,
capacity. We were out last night and my mom was like, do I do this back and forth? I'm like,
Right.
no.
That's hilarious.
So wait, what should we do? Like, wiggle?
All right, I'll like wave. It's not even on.
I think you got it.
Am
I think
I
that's it.
3, 2, 1.
Oh God, it's on.
Yeah.
Was it cute?
I think so.
I mean,
Let's see.
you're in it, Paps.
God bless.
You're wiggling.
Oh, look
That's
at
cute.
it. That's cute. I love it.